Hi, I'm Kayleigh Dowd and today you join me on the Stainforth Keadby Canal. Lovely canal this is, and I'm going to explain to you how you can have a simple day's fishing with literally a couple of pint of casters. That'll catch everything that swims, from small fish to big fish, and hopefully we'll get a few surprises along the way. On the side tray, as you can see, I've got one bait tub, and in that we've got a couple of pint of casters. So literally that's all I'm gonna fish. You probably see I've got a little messy pile on the side tray here. I like to have the casters a little bit darker for the hook, so I think they sink that bit slower through the water and stand out. So I'll have my casters for feeding the tub and then just a little pile on the side for the hook. The rigs that I'm going to be using today, so I'm going to be using a 4x14 shanty. One of the originals, you can't beat them for this style of fishing. Natural venues, dead sensitive, dots down perfectly as well. Got a nice bit of calm water in front of us, so you can dot it down to a pimple. It'll be lovely. Shotting pattern on that, so it's just got number 10s that are tapered, so they start close together, far away, and as you get close to the hook, just spread out until the last ones are about 5-6 inches apart. So after my shotting, that's all done on a 013 main line, and then down to the hook length. Got some 08 power line, size 18 N10, and you're going to get anything in with that. It's dead strong is 08 power. Anything that we hook in here, we'll be able to get in. And then the elastic to go with that, like I said, we might catch a few bigger fish along the way, so I'm using a 7 hybrid. Normally, if I'm just fishing for roach, I'll use a 5, but because there is the chance of an odd bigger fish, the 7's still soft enough. But if we do look into it a bit better, we've got enough power to keep them under control and hopefully get them in. To start my session, I've fed that many casters. I'm not going to count them all individual, but literally a few on the end of my fingers into the big pot and ship them out. And then I'll look and see what happens with the initial response. If it keeps going under, I'll keep potting it. If you're getting not as many bites or odd iffy bites, I'll just flick the odd casters over the top. So like 15 casters in a pouch around my float. So what I've done when I've plumbed up, if I've looked for a nice flat area, so I've gone 14.5 metres, it's a bit clear as a canal, it drops down a shelf, goes into deep channel and starts coming up. So just as it starts coming up, that's where I've found a nice flat area to fish. And if you look across, there's quite a bit of dark water with the boats, so I like to fish in the dark water, line up with a far bank marker, and then when your float's presented, you can see it dotted down perfectly, and it makes hitting them bites a bit easier. So when we're fishing with casters, it pays off to have a little play around with how you put your rig in and present your bait to the fish. Sometimes you can catch better quality fish like roach and the little pommies and rudd that are in here. Just putting your bait in, holding on to it so the float sinks really slowly, and just as it's about settled, it'll go with the bigger fish. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a nuisance, them fish, and dropping your rig in, holding on to it for them last 6 inch and then dropping it down that way can get your rig to the bottom, lagged on an inch, and that's where you're more likely to catch your bigger fish such as your tenge, perch, bream. And sometimes if you just like literally come off deck a little bit, so move your float up and down, and sometimes just off bottom's good for roach, just on a couple of inch good for tenge. So it's all about the fish that you're catching, what you're aiming to catch, but laying your rig in different ways will present and you'll catch different fish doing it. So I'm going to kick my session off now, and as I've just shown you, I'm literally feeding that many casters, not going to count them, in bottom at pot, they go. So I've already plumbed up, lined up with my far bank marker, and I'm just going to pot all these in down the same hole. So ship out to the full 14.5 metres. Line up with where I've plumbed up. There we go, pull a little tap. Just because the casters are in water, they're a bit wet, they stick to inside of your pole pot. So just tapping it after you've tipped them out, just make sure that you've got no stragglers in there. And now I'm pretty confident. If I were in a match, I'd usually pot out first, have a look on the other lines and then go on this. But because we're on a zone, I'm quite confident that there's going to be a few fish there. and if not, then I'll just ping some casters over at top, and I'm sure it won't be long till we're into a fish or two. I'm just putting single caster on the hook, so you can play around with double caster. I've always found single caster you catch probably more fish, and I've caught more tench on single caster than what I have on double, so it's just one of them. Drop the rig in and then literally just hold it 6-8 inch out of water, let it all straighten up, and then just lower it down. I think there's one holding that up. Yeah. There we go, it didn't even get to the bottom that time, got a little fish. There we go, little roach. So we're actually on the Blue Water Marina stretch here on the Stainforth Keadby Canal, and this stretch in particular is well known for its winter fishing and its winter form. So there's a lot of lilies that grow here in summer. You probably still can catch fish here, but it's one of them places where there's not much around, so the fish move out into the open. There's a lot of fields and stuff around here, and then this time of year, as it cools down, the fish obviously tend to move around here. There we go, little rud. And you can see why with all the boats. There's a marina just behind, and I think it just holds a few degrees more in the water. Out in the open, the water, once we start getting frosts and the temperature drops, it'll feel it more than what it will here. They'll have a bit of heat off the boats, a bit of cover from the lilies and stuff, even though they're dying off at the moment. And yeah, it just tends to hold a lot of fish. It goes up round the corner, under a bridge, and I'd say from one bridge all the way up to the other bridge, it's just full of fish. It's one of them places where you're going to come and get bites, which is what we want. As it starts to cool down, it's nice to go out, get a few bites, have a short session. Daylight is a lot shorter, you don't get as long, so you need to make the most of it when you do go out. So I'll just hold my rig down, let it all settle, and then drop it in, and hopefully it should fit fish quite nice. I reckon there's one holding that off bottom again. Yeah, there we go. The float just didn't settle quite nicely. Just tell there's a bit more of tip out than what we... Oh, I thought I saw the pike strike then. Oh, we've got a bleak. Don't get many of them on here. Oh no, it's a big perch. We'll take it though. Not quite the tench I thought it was, but he's a welcome one. Look at him. There we go. Big stripey. Look at that. Oh, bang on time. There we go. Look at that. Let's put that top kit down. Look at the size of him. Not quite the tench we were after, but who cares when they look like that. Nice big fish. Lightly hooked. You can see it hooked just right in the corner of his mouth. Just take that out, no problem. There we go. I'm going to pop him in net, feed a few casters because I reckon he's ate some, and get back out there. So there you go, that's why I love fishing casters. Catch roach like this, big perch, bleak, whatever. Let's have a look at some more. It's getting to that time of day now, light's starting to drop a bit. So we're at Last Chance Saloon. Got another 5-10 minutes or so to go. Had a lovely day's fishing, still catching fish. Slowed down a little bit. I'm hoping that another big fish is going to move in. But even if not, just goes to show, a couple of pint of casters, and I've had a lovely day's fishing. Topped off with that bonus perch at minute, but it's one of them, it's still getting bites. Just flicking odd bit of caster over the top. Lovely. Let's put the rig in. You could come back another day, do exactly the same and catch half a dozen or so tench. It's one of them, it's fishing at the end of the day, you can't make them feed, but we still can't complain. We've had loads of fish, plenty of bites throughout the day, nice bonus perch. And the weather's also been on our side. Definitely not required. Fishing single caster still. Put that on. Alright. You never know, it could go under next time with a bigger fish. As long as it keeps going under, I'm always happy. Oh. Quick. There's a fight coming. Oh. I think he may have got that roach. Just keep flicking the odd caster over. I think there's enough bait down there, it's just pulling a few fish back into area after that pike's obviously spooked a few. Oh. Wrong section. There we go. Nice chunky rod. Managed to save that one from the pike. So there you go. That's the last fish I'm going to catch today. I've had a lovely day's fishing. Kept it dead simple. One rig and literally a couple of pint of casters. I've caught fish throughout the day. And it's something that you can do back home as well. Look for a bit of stretcher canal, a few boats on it. Once it gets colder, it's like a magnet for these fish. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon.
A few moments later.
It's a big perch. We do love a big perch. Look at that. Up she comes. There's some big ones in here, isn't there? Now what I want is for it to go in there and that pike not come and eat her. Look at that. A bit like peas in a pod, to be honest. Look at them. That's what it is all about. Who needs tench when you've got perch? Look at that. Let's put the top kit out of the way and I'll hold her up for you. Look at that. Perfection. So if you've enjoyed this video and want to see plenty more like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Preston Innovations YouTube channel, completely free, and it's bound to put more fish in your net.